come to the bold analysis. I've just arrived home from Kamkunji grounds. I was there for nearly, I think, 1.5 hours. Kamkunji grounds in Shaurimoyo. It was in that ground that I was going back to that place because during a campaign time, I covered William Ruto's rally in the same grounds, and I realized that it's a place that I was so much privy about, and that's why I decided to go there. I've seen what media houses are reporting and what other people have seen, but I think in this analysis I'll try to confine myself to what I literally saw, because I went there to just assess one on the branding in terms of ground, the stage, because it points out the messaging, the organization, the way it is organized, and maybe also read the mood of the people. Now, one of the things that I want to say is that in the last general election, we brought conversation about the youth on table. And that conversation, even though we used it to bring votes, or rather to sway votes on either side of the political divide, the youth have stuck with the politician and are actually putting politician in a hot soup. They want to know what exactly is happening. So just before I give you what's in Kamkunji, I bumped on this clip of Charlene Ruto. Simply, there is no other word to say, lying to university students that she was selling some smoky and kachumbari. I used to sell smoky and kachumbari when I was in college. My photo, I don't know if they can get that photo. Yeah, I used to sell when I was in Masai Mara. So she was lying, and university students saying, in Daystar, Charlene Ruto.
The business of selling smoky kachumbari. I was in Daystar University. Na hiyo ndio kitu ilikuwa inauza sana, smoky kachumbari. And he really encouraged me in that small business I was doing. And one principle he taught me that I want you to live with.
Yo. Ai. Mtoto wa deputy ai wakana wajinga bana.
So I think we've taken that hustler narrative too far. Now, that was just by the way. So, Raila Odinga team, when they were going to Kamkunji grounds, there was one big challenge that they were facing. A challenge that what they had told people was a consultative forum, the government machineries on the other end had successfully ran with a narrative that Raila was planning what will be mandamano or a protest. And I think Raila team said they are going to Kamkunji grounds, not for a protest, but they are going to meet. It's a consultative forum to meet the people. And someone mobilized a group of youths in Kisumu to chant anti-Raila songs in the morning. And I don't know, I think people are expecting that when some people will be doing protest, then there will be also anti-Raila protests in Kisumu. And you've been beaten in that game. I think that was unnecessary, honestly, because we had all agreed and we tried to educate our people that it was going to be a consultation, not picketing. Don't attack your neighbor, don't steal from someone. Let's make it be very peaceful. So these guys who are coming up with very childish and petty plans, I think they were really beaten in their own games. They're actually young people, and I realized they were so active in that crowd. Most of them, when you walk in between, they're talking about issues. They're talking about tunataka unga, and these things we told people in the streets in the campaign trail. Now, I saw a strategy there on the real issues messaging to be addressed by the common mwananchi. I want to listen to these two clips. Now, there is this lady here.
Mama, siku ya leo tumekuja hapa, tuko na na uchungu sana. Kitu ya kwanza ni kukosa kazi. Baba, vile unaona hapa, wazee unaona mabibi zao wako Saudi Arabia wanateseka. Wako Saudi Arabia wanateseka kwa sababu hawana kazi. Mabibi zao hawako. Tunaomba Baba utusaidie sana. Maana wanateseka Isili. Wamefua nguo, wamechoka. Tunaomba Baba utusaidie. Baba.
If you listen to the way, and that lady was nearly crying by the Alipomaliza's speech, when she was giving the microphone, she was nearly in tears, huh? And she was representing a group. One thing I know is, I think the organizers of that event, it's not impromptu. Everything is organized and is choreographed, and they had some intention. There is really an intention that they wanted to achieve. So after that, there is a guy who also spoke about Hustler Fund, and he was talking about how it's not enough to even start a business. I think it's here. From those two clips, I've just singled two, but there were many. There is even another gentleman who spoke akiwa amevaa gown. You know, now people are graduating. So they wanted to achieve something. In fact, with the guy coming in the gown, there is the border person who also spoke. There is also another lady who was, I think it was Mama Mboga. So what Raila is actually trying to do, he's trying to remind Mama Mboga about what William Ruto did. We're going to look at the achievement of that political rally, what Raila Odinga team wanted to achieve. But I need to make this observation. Unlike political rallies that we've ever seen in the past, where people are ferried to attend rallies, this is not something that only William Ruto does. Even Raila team sometimes ferry people. I did not see any single bus there. So that crowd is an organic crowd. On how you can interpret it, what it means politically, it's upon you. But one thing I need to tell you is, those are people that went there voluntarily, not being forced, not being asked, not being facilitated. And you realize that apart from some few who are around the dais, close to the dais, who are maybe choreographed to make the speech, and so the majority that are outside or away from that podium are people that came there. That crowd is a natural crowd. That's one thing we need really to mention. Police did a recommendable job. I was there. I wanted to see presence, how they were going to handle the situation. I think they got the right brief from Kindiki, and my fear was, if they would get to the stadium and to the ground, and when something goes south, they take advantage. They contained, and they were so far. Sharuma police station is not very far from that ground. In fact, they retreated, even though you could see the trucks, police trucks were there in the police station, but they did not get to the ground, and that was a very good job. Guys, from the observation I made in that ground, Raila Odinga had some specific objectives of that rally. And so I want us to look at these objectives so that you also analyze, you also find out yourself, do you think they were achieved? From the way it was organized in terms of the speeches, the youth-centered approach. If you look at the team that were introduced to speak by George Aladwa, Gaucho, Nuru Okanga, the other young people, and the guy in the gown, they are simply trying to bring everything into and saying that it's not Mama Mboga who has been sorted, it's not Boba Boda, it's not anyone. In fact, the design, or rather the strategy, was to talk to the people that William Ruto spoke about at the campaign trail. When President Ruto was campaigning, he spoke about Mboga, our watu. The graduates are going to get a job, and now they got the timing because there are a lot of graduations going on. They wanted to show President Ruto that quite a number of people are not comfortable. I don't know whether you are of the opinion that Ruto needs to be given time before we start asking questions, or it's too early. But this is building a momentum to 100 days question, because on 23rd of December, the administration shall have clocked 100 days in office. And the other objective would be they want to charge the crowd, they want to charge they want to charge the population, so that people will continue asking questions. When discussing questions, accountability question comes in. When accountability questions keeps on popping up, then Kenyans are reminded. I don't know how this will play out, even though sometimes there is what is called blind political allegiance, where even if it's doing wrong, you can't say because they're on people. So, what are some of the outcomes that you can see? I'm seeing anti-Raila consultations are going to keep Ruto on track. The advantage here is it might boost the service delivered to the people, because we've been talking about many policies, and some of the policies that have been included, have been maybe brought forth, are sometimes retrogressive or disruptive. If you look at CBC, it's a big issue. Bit disruptive, it was a big issue for the parents, because parents were told we are going to scrap it off. Realize that is not possible. There are the issue of the maize, there is the issue of the price of unga, and quite a number of stuff, the hustler fund thing. So what this means is Kenyans will keep on asking those questions. The advantage here is Ruto might actually change tact and now design other ways of making sure that government is felt. And what I wanted to assess, are people feeling this government? Let me tell you, wachana na watu wanaongea kwa podium. Take time when you attend any event, be it that of Raila or William Ruto or anywhere, and go to talk to people behind. Wale wenye hawapigi kelele na wamesimama huko. And even if you don't talk, just walk around to listen. What are people saying? You will hear mamas about mazee hiyo hustler fund blah blah. Mazee hiyo price ya unga. You will hear people talking about those issues. Now, with Raila coming to the limelight and speaking about them, it actually magnifies and it tends to stick on people's mind. What we are likely to see is future elections based on what you have done for the people. And of course, what you've done for the people sometimes is not the multi-billion projects on the roads, and so is the small things that you promised really come to light. Ruto might be forced to come back to the ring. And that is what William Ruto wants. That's what Raila Odinga would actually want. Because you need to counter these narratives. These rallies there is a lot of intelligence briefs that are coming from these rallies. The president needs to know, is the narrative in the population against me? How can I capture it? And now that Raila is talking, the media is covering Raila. I also wanted to assess whether the media are afraid of covering Raila or they've withdrawn. I wanted to, and I realized everyone was there. So media is covering Raila, and Raila is getting now the limelight and bit of that prominence. What William Ruto is getting in terms of coverage is projects and conferences here and there. What we'll actually see is William Ruto now upscaling. And when, apart from the church rallies, most of these events will then turn a bit political, or even unleash cabinet members to go and politic. Public is venting their frustrations over Ruto's administration. That's what you can say. And this venting of this frustration is very key, because I've always said that not that people are comfortable. People are uncomfortable, but they are restrained. So that restraint might actually deflate, and people might let loose. With population awareness, Ruto must be forced to be on a constant defensive stage. They actually want to put Ruto to be on a defensive mood. Anything he comes to public, instead of saying what he's doing, he will keep on defending, because the public is consuming what the opposition wing are saying. And opposition wing are either using omission or confusion. Two things. They will either omit, not say the completion at the end, or they might actually twist what it is. So what will that mean? That the administration will find itself in a more defensive position, always defending, because one thing, what the public is receiving, what the population is being fed on, is something that may not be the real thing. That aspect of being defensive also portrays you as someone who is not delivering and is just trying to please the population. That's my take. Bit from that Kamkunji rally. I've tried to look at every aspect that was in it. I'm looking at the comment section. If there is something you want to find out more, please ask in the comment section. I'll try to pass through there and also tell you, let's just ask and know what exactly is there. Those of us who are also there, you can also see. I don't know why I feel like the other political parties within Azimio that are there are just escorting Raila. It was morely organized by ODM. Yes. Even if you ask me in terms of funding on the stage, it might have come from the ODM. I have a feeling, no. But then, that's not my gist. You can also tell me what you think.